Hi and welcome to Divorcing Japan. Steve here, and today's topic is Sanae Takaichi, the new Prime Minister of Japan. And quite frankly, there's a lot of buzz around her right now, online and in country. Her recent meeting with Donald Trump made a lot of hoo-ha and a big noise because she was like a rock star. And in the past, she's been known for playing drums in a heavy metal band, driving a Toyota Supra, and being quite a singer as well, apparently. Or not. But in country, if you look around and do a little bit of digging and a bit of research, you can see that her reception is mixed. There are a lot of people that feel very positive for change coming and good change for Japan, but there's also a lot of people that feel that there are some mysterious boxes that need to be checked out. It might seem obvious to say that she has a lot of female support here in Japan because she's the first female prime minister, but on the other hand, there seem to be quite a lot of women, young women, who are worried about her motives, her intentions, and what's going to happen in the future. Now, Japan's got its own problems right now, what with the birth rate spiraling, with wages stagnating and taxes rising, the cost of food at the supermarket, basic living, bills, etc. And on top of that, the massive cost of raising kids are putting pressure on the middle class families, maybe to think about where they can cut corners. And unfortunately, with young people, one of those places might well be getting married and having children. Children are expensive and they're just getting more expensive. And we're going to talk today about the reason why. We'll also be talking today briefly about the brutal work-life balance. And recently, the Prime Minister Takaichi has been coming under a bit of heat for comments about that work-life balance. Some of her critics have been giving her heat recently with comments about Taiwan and the stance that Japan's defense force should take should China press onto Taiwan. These comments recently have got her into a little bit of hot water, not only in the media, not only with China, but also with critics back here in country. So the word on the street is Takaichi's going to bring change, and people are hoping for good change, but we have to wait and see, and everybody's nervous to wait and see. Is it going to work? Is it going to be good? Is there going to be a better future for the normal average people here in Japan? And as we'll also see, a lot of these elements do tie into divorce, marriage in the first place, having kids, and then eventually in bad situations, divorce rates skyrocketing. And it's all tying together with this economic uncertainty, and this new Prime Minister has to grab the reins and really give it a good try to balance things out. So, who is Sanae Takaichi? Born in Nara, studied in the US briefly, and you got to praise her, she does try and pull that English out in the meetings. I like that. Strong-willed and deeply conservative. Long-time LDP member and close ally of the late Shinzo Abe, and shares those revisionist, nationalist leanings. And from Divorcing Japan's point of view, her personal life is somewhat interesting too. Married in 2004 and adopting 3 children that her husband brought with him from a previous marriage. She was married for a fair few years and then eventually divorcing in 2017 due to political differences. I'm guessing that they're both in politics, but I'm not sure on that. But then the funny thing is that they get married again. She marries her ex-husband again one more time in 2022. Perhaps it's something to do with her road to becoming prime minister. Apparently, it still looks better in Japan if you're married and you're running for office, as opposed to being divorced. So one could say that she has traditional values underneath it all, and she's known for being disciplined, image conscious, and unapologetically right-wing. She embodies that spirit of a Japanese, strong, hard-working woman with a work kind of mentality, which might be scaring off some of the women who are feeling that more modern Japan should involve a more foreign aspect of equality, work-life balance, both the parents having enough time to be at home in family life for the children. Her main political goals are revising Japan's constitution, allowing a stronger military response and a focus on national security, economic growth through nationalism, more made in Japan, self-reliance, and support for more traditional gender roles, making it difficult for women to keep their maiden names after marriage. And as I said earlier, she's got into a bit of hot water recently with her views on Taiwan and her strong Japan defense resolve. Some of the critics are saying that a more militarized Japan could close off international relations, close Japan down a bit more, making it harder for international families and therefore leading to a little bit more outcast within the country with mixed-race children. And as a mixed-race child myself, I can definitely put my hands up and say that we are noticed. And as Japan becomes more and more centered on its nationalistic identity, there is a chance that we are going to get pulled out of the woodwork more than before. There is still a sense that young children are not told in schools not to poke fingers at the mixed race children and to call them different names and to basically treat them any different to anybody else in Japan. But it still happens, and I've borne witness to that, and I've seen it with my own eyes. And perhaps we were hoping for a much wider outlook, a bigger outlook of acceptance of foreigners coming into Japan, but that tide seems to be going out right now. So let's start by talking at the work-life balance, and this has a massive effect on marriage, and in my opinion has a massive effect on divorce, thus leaving kids to fend for themselves with one parent under the sole custody system. So this idea, and we've all known it from the stereotypical myth, which is not really a myth, of Japan's hard work-life attitude, which we've seen in some circles, some professions. We've seen a little bit of a relax happening there with a little bit more time. We have seen paternity leave being longer. We have seen maternity leave being longer, but that's only officially. Officially in Japan, obviously, the mother has maternity leave, and the father is also welcome to take that paternity leave. However, once you're inside the constraints of a company or a working environment, you'll find out very quickly that fathers in particular are not able to take their paternity leave without severe peer pressure and prodding from the sides that they shouldn't be doing it. I remember when my children were born, I managed to get 1 day of paternity leave. Moving on. However, on the flip side, I have talked to Japanese people who have managed to balance their paternity leave. So the mother has had 6 months maternity leave, and the father has also taken 6 months paternity leave, which, wow, strong skin is all I can say. So there are cases out there where it happens, but I'm telling you, it's not happening a lot, just from that work peer pressure. That environment in the office where who is going to pick up that slack if you're not there, and why should you be allowed to do that? And I think it kind of also goes back to that more international feeling of you have a certain amount of holidays per year and everyone is required to take them. A lot of my friends in England are going on holiday all the time, taking their holiday times. And in Japan, you are given holiday time, but taking it is a different kettle of fish. Taking your holiday time will make you seem like somebody who is not as into the team and into the job as the other people, and you may be outcast as a result. So people simply just don't take the holiday time. So how does that roll over into people thinking about getting married and having children? Well, the truth is right now, because of Japan's economy, because of the wages being quite low, we're seeing a massive increase of dual income families. And this is not necessarily by choice. This is out of necessity. The price of raising children has gone up and the wages have stagnated. Everything is expensive. At the supermarket, the bills, the electricity bills, everything is expensive. And mothers cannot afford to stay at home and be home mothers anymore, even if they want to. They have to go out and work. And what's happening there is they're getting more tired. The fathers are at work every day. The kids are stuck in daycare all day. And then when they come home, mothers are tired, fathers are tired, kids are being given an iPad and told to sit in the corner while they prepare dinner, eat dinner, jump in the bath, and that's it. There's no real time for coming together. And is this the parents' fault? Well, not exactly. It's the fact that they have to work these long hours just to make ends meet, to pay the bills and raise the children and put that money away for the children's future. The education system here, once the children hit high school or university, the bills are high, the tuition fees are high. And one of the things that they've been looking at here in Japan, and Takaichi has been trying to tackle in her early days, is to try to look at how those education bills and fees can be brought down, to bring private universities' bills and fees down, and to bring public universities' fees down to zero. People just simply aren't having children because of the cost they know that the children will incur to get them out of school and out of university and into the working environment. Therefore, you see mothers, fathers working their butts off, coming home like zombies. And obviously that's having huge stress on family life too. Mothers who have shorter working hours than fathers expect the fathers to do the father part, and the fathers are still working those 12-hour days, 13-hour days, and they're coming back. It's causing stress at home. And I reckon fathers do want to be fathers. They do want to be there. But because of that peer pressure from work, that they're not able to go home early to be with their family, to be with their children. Fathers cannot support mothers in the upbringing of the children. And therefore, that's leading to stress, which sadly is leading to divorce. It's making a lot of fathers feel redundant because they want to help, they just can't. And there is that physical boundary. Mothers are doing as much as they can to bring the children up without stressing out or blowing a gasket. The brunt of stress from work and the brunt of stress of childbringing isn't coming together well inside the house, creating this hot box of emotion and stress inside the house with the sweet children in the middle of it. So this is having an effect on the divorce rate, I am sure, when mother and father overworked, children stuck in daycare all day. This system that has been created is not really helping families to bond, spend time together, love each other, and form a family unit. Instead, it's causing them to throw their hands up in the air and decide to part ways. So we got economy, tax, and who's paying. The crisis starts with the size of the older generation and the shrinking middle class. The problem is there just aren't enough people, so who's paying? It seems that Takaichi is supporting large corporate incentives, like giving money to companies to let people go home earlier, giving monies to companies to let people have more maternity leave to have more children. The money's not coming back to the middle class people where it's so desperately needed. And critics are arguing that her plans help the state but not the household. If you watch some of my other videos, you can see how in a post-divorce situation, the government is actually paying quite a lot of money to the mother, but nothing to the father, which really hurts the fathers because we still have to pay child support to support our children, and we get extra taxes for being single, and we don't get any breaks from the government to help us out. Our wages don't change, but we're still expected to pay and pay more, especially like me if you stay in the house and you have a whole house to support as well. So my outgoings definitely went up and I had to be careful, but there was nowhere to go and get government support should I need it. If Takaichi decides to raise taxes, then it's definitely the middle class families that will suffer. The dual income families, where the mother and the father going out, working all they can and bringing up children at the same time, are going to be required to pay more taxes, which is going to put even a heavier burden on them than before. This is going to make younger people feel that marriage cannot be for them, and especially that dream of having children is something that's so distant because it's financially impossible to attain. The birth rate may continue to decrease even with Takaichi's incentives, and she's casting out incentives, especially into the corporate world, as I just said, to try to get people to have more babies. It's not helping because people are seeing into the future, they're seeing their parents' own struggles, and they're understanding that having a baby could put them into a place they don't want to be. Takaichi's also gone forwards on a gung-ho mission, but has gained a lot of critique about her gung-ho stance with international relations with countries like China. She was very friendly with Donald Trump the other day when he came over to Japan, but has been very, very cold to China and has put a definite focus on made in Japan and doing things in country. But one has to realize that the amount of international trade that is required for Japan to function is massive, and any kind of danger to that international trade could be a step in the bad direction. For those of us living in Japan right now, especially foreigners, there's a lot of dark water ahead with new rules and sanctions on foreigners, especially foreigners who are not paying tax correctly, who are not paying the bills that they should be paying. They're being deported, they're being punished, and the new visa system, if you haven't paid up on your taxes, then you don't get your new visa. This is breaking families too. Now, there's a lot of people out there saying, well, if they don't pay their taxes, they should go back to their own country anyway. But I'm sorry to say, there are people in Japan who don't pay their taxes, and foreigners make up 2.7% of the Japanese population. So if there is a massive problem with the system and not enough people paying taxes, I very much doubt it's the foreigners that are causing that problem. What's the overall public perception? Well, older generation, there's a lot of people that are supportive, but there are also some that are saying, like, we shouldn't upset the waters, we shouldn't be running into this so fast, we should be taking our time with international relations a bit more. There are younger people who are worried about prices going up, worried about whether she's really a supporter for a traditional Japan or whether she is going to help a more balanced feminist kind of view. We do want equality, we do want more females higher up in the ranks in the workplaces, but we also want respect for mothers and for people to have families so that they can bring up good families where the parents are both happy and they're able to bring up great kids, because great kids thrive when the parents aren't stressed out and busy all the time. So I really think we need to think about the kids, to give the parents more space and a bit more of a hand so that they can raise these kids in a fantastic, loving environment. it could well be that she's inspiring politically but not socially. And as far as I can see right now, it could be one of those things, the foreign curse. I'm not saying that she's foreign, but like the way Japanese people look at foreigners, at first we're all shiny and amazing and omoshiroi and so fun, but then after a while, once you start peeling back the layers, we're a little bit annoying, we're different, we culturally can't fit in, and we keep putting our feet in the wrong place at the wrong time and causing problems. If you get what I mean. So to close this video, I hope that she can do the best, and I hope that she can be strong and lead Japan into a great place. But as I say, there are critics on both sides of the fence, supporters and critics, and we really don't know where this is going to go. It's still very, very early days. And I, for one, I'll be watching and check it out. I'm not heavily into the politics, but it's just so big right now that I feel I want to say something about it, especially with that link to marriage, divorce, and family life here in Japan. If you're interested in this stuff, please comment below on your opinions. What do you think about Sanae Takaichi? And like the video and subscribe to my channel where I talk about divorce in Japan, divorce in general, and how we can be strong fathers if we're in a situation where we're losing our kids. And also looking at some of the perspectives here in Japan to do with the new laws coming in about divorce in Japan. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.